So in my last video with the whole cloud storage thing and everything not working, because Google updated from backup and sync, which worked perfect, and they changed it to Google Drive Desktop, which has tons of issues, and it doesn't even work for what I need now. Because I can't use it, and I don't really want to buy another cloud storage solution right now, which was either OneDrive or Sync.com, this ended up being on sale, 180 bucks. Two-bay, diskless, NAS, but it also has cloud storage functionality. So 0 terabyte, I have to put drives in it. They recommend Western Digital Red, which there was that whole scandal thing going on where they're giving out SMR drives instead of CMR drives, so I don't really trust them. And since I have two Seagate 8 terabyte drives, I used to have 6 from my old work computer, and then I sold 3 of them. And then in my old build, I had 3 of them in there in RAID 0, so I had 24 terabytes, and then I ended up putting one in the iMac with the Apple whatever SSD thing or whatever, so that has like 9 terabytes now for a Fusion drive. And then I had 2 in here running in RAID 0, but the issue with RAID is that the drives never stop spinning because they both have to start and be configured at the exact same time, so that way they can both be running seamlessly together, which basically means that the drive will never turn off, because if it turns off then I try and access it, then there may be a delay between the 2 drives starting on Windows, and then that means that it's going to corrupt everything on it because they're not going to be spinning at the exact same time, they're not going to be in sync with each other, and then it's not going to work. So the drives never turn off, and because they are SMR drives, you know, they get hot, they slow down, the cache fills up really fast, and they're not a good time. So for RAID 0, it sucks. There's no huge performance increase or anything like that. So I'm only running a single one in there right now, and I took the second one out a while ago because my external is 8 terabytes, and I figured having 8 terabyte internal plus the NVMEs for everything that I'm working on, I can save everything to the external as an offline backup in case anything happens to the computer. So I've limited all of my stuff down to 8 terabyte, and right now I'm just breaching that capacity. Like 8 terabyte is enough. I can still manage everything, but it's getting very close that I'm going to be running out of space. On this drive right here, I only have 161 gigs free, and because of what I'm going to be doing, I also have 3 videos on this camera right now with a 256 gigabyte card. So hopefully there's enough capacity on this card to save all of the footage, because I don't have enough capacity on the external to back up the footage to that. But then once the videos are made, I delete the original footage, so then it ends up being a much smaller amount of capacity being used for the final video in case I need to go back to it for footage for a different video or something like that. 8 terabyte is currently what I'm after, and I have 2 8 terabyte drives. I have my spare one that I've removed from my computer, and I have the one that is currently in my computer right now. And because of the whole Google Drive thing and everything that I've explained in the last video, I'm trying to figure out my own cloud solution. So it was either OneDrive or Sync.com, but I don't want to pay for those right now. So I got this for 180 bucks, which is basically the same as paying for cloud storage for 2 years. What I have to do is I have to get 2 years out of this to justify the cost of it, and hopefully it does everything that I need it to. So here's the actual unit itself. It's very, very small. On the front, we just have the power indicator and then the activity lights for the 2 drives. On the back, we have 2 USB super speeds. That's either 3.0, 3.1, 3.2, I'm not really sure. And then we have gigabit Ethernet and the power adapter. They also gave me 3 months of Plex Pass for free, so that's $20 value, so that's kind of cool, which again, that's a Plex server, so Plex Pass for that works pretty good. I'm also trying to eliminate most of my like online expenses for things, so all of my Blu-rays and everything, I've already ripped all of them and I've put them all on there. All of the music and everything that I have, like way back from like iTunes and everything, that's all on there. So now music, movies, TV shows, all of that is streamed through the Plex app, which I have remote access, so I can access it on my phone or any computer anywhere. So I basically have my own streaming solution for that. So now, streaming storage solution. So this ends up being an extremely simple setup. You have the top, it opens up, you have drive 1, drive 2, this little bracket comes off to hold the drives, this little tab goes on so you can pull the drives out, These are the screws right here to slide it into the channel. That's the little tab for the second drive. And then right here is your little instruction thing or whatever for how to put the drives in. And this right here is just how to set it up. So we plug in power, we plug it into the network, we wait for all the lights to come on, and then we go to mycloud.com/setup. And hopefully this should be very simple. I've never used this, I've never looked into it. It was just a very cheap solution, and I figured I would jump on it since I have the drives anyway. And because of this whole Google Drive thing, I can't use that 8 terabyte hard drive because of the way that it's set up. So I'm either buying cloud storage for 2 years or I'm making my own cloud. And in theory, this will give me 8 terabytes in RAID 1, so if one of these drives fails, then I can just pull it out. It has hot swap capabilities, and all of my stuff is currently fitting on 8 terabytes. So 8 terabyte in, everything on there, second drive as a complete clone backup for parity. And then if one of them fails, it'll tell me which one is failing, and I can just pull that drive out and I can replace it with a new one, preferably a NAS drive. And then I would swap the drives later down the road with one of those Seagate Iron Wolf drives, the NAS drives, preferably one of the Pro ones because they have a longer warranty, which Seagate's warranty is absolutely insane. I've had drives from Seagate fail. I've even dropped drives and I've told them that I've dropped the drive and they said no problem at all, just fill out the warranty thing, you give the model number for the drive, they send you a new drive in the mail, you just pay for shipping, and then you put the old one in the box, send it back, and then they either refurbish it or send it off for recycling. So their warranty is like nothing I've ever seen before. You're basically guaranteed to be covered no matter what. And with the Iron Wolf Pro, they also have data recovery. So if it fails with all of my stuff on it, and if I can't restore it by doing like a deep sector scan or something, just like simple stuff that I can do, then they also offer the data recovery. So it's the best option. And plus with the whole scandal thing that was going on with Western Digital, I don't really trust them in terms of drives anymore, because even on reputable sites like Newegg and everything, you can't actually see whether they are SMR or CMR drives, and Seagate blatantly says that they are CMR drives, so they are the good ones that you want. I've backed everything up to the external right now, so I can turn this off. And I'm not like 100% sure, but you can actually hear the hard drive a little bit. You might not be able to pick it up, but I can hear it, like it's audible. So this is also going to make it a lot quieter in here. Especially for recording music and everything, it really sucks having those noises in the background. So now, I already have one drive installed, which was my spare one, so all I have to do is take the drive out of the computer, pop it in this, hook the whole thing up and everything, and then I can format the entire thing as a network attached storage device, and then we'll set up all the cloud stuff and everything to actually use it. And then I can take this SMR drive, which is going to take forever, and I can offload everything to this and then have access across all the devices. The only thing that I'm not sure of right now is an application or how it works. Does this work as a network attached storage to the computer itself? Is it going to have like an app-based thing where I can pick which folders that I want to sync, like the Google Drive thing? Because essentially this is going to be exactly like the Google Drive thing right now that's not working for me, but I have significantly more capacity, so it's still network attached storage regardless, which is going to be beneficial to me, and it's getting the hard drives out of my computer into a different room. So either way, it's going to be an upgrade regardless, but I'm not sure how it actually works once it's set up, so that's going to be an adventure for both of us. So now let's unhook this thing. Now I get to fish the drive out. Oh god, this is going to suck. It's in there. But essentially we can remove this SATA cable because we don't need that anymore. There are no more SATA drives in this computer. Okay, now we can unplug the power and the SATA cable from there. So now we gotta take these screws out of the bottom. Now the lighting in here sucks because my fan broke. And if the light is on, the fan is on. And you cannot turn the fan off anymore. So we have to deal with the studio lighting. And we should be able to remove this entire cage as a whole. Now we can remove the hard drive. I really wish I grabbed that electronic screwdriver from the garage and pop the hard drive out. And I'll put all of this back together after. And basically, we just look in here and the port is in this corner and it was in the other corner on the other one. So that means it's gonna go in like this. So these screws can go here. And now this one gets the little plastic thing. Okay, now we just tighten that up, pinch that in there because it needs to move around, and pop this little retaining bracket off. It has this little tab that pulls up and you spin it out. And now the drive connector goes in like this. Make sure this plastic thing goes on the outside. Just make sure it snaps in place there. Now you can take this little retainer again, drive 1 and 2, 1 and 2. And just make sure these things are all nice and straight. Just make sure it looks nice. And that's it. An 8 terabyte RAID 1 network attached storage / cloud, or 16 terabyte RAID 0 if we wanted to play that game. I'm thinking RAID 1 is going to be the best right now. So if a drive fails, I can upgrade it to a NAS drive. And then once I have 2 NAS drives, the capacity is still 8 terabytes. So I have enough on the external so I can back everything up again. Then I can change this to RAID 0 and move everything back and have twice the capacity. Or when I'm upgrading to NAS drives, I can also go with, say, like a 16 terabyte drive or something. Because being in RAID 1, I can put a 16 terabyte drive in there as the backup, and the 8 terabyte drive will be the leading drive that everything goes off of. Once everything's copied over, it has the clone backup on both of them. The 16 terabyte one is only at half the capacity, essentially, which means that if I put another one in, then it'll reallocate as a 16 terabyte RAID 1. So now I would have twice the capacity with bigger drives, while still having a second drive for parity. So that could be a future upgrade down the road. That's basically it. So now I just gotta put this thing back together, and then we can turn it all back on, and then we can go to this website here and set it all up. And I have to hook this up into the other room. Should probably clean this room. Oh well. Now, ideally, I want to have this set up somewhere dust-free, out of harm's way. So what I was thinking, building a shelf or something right in here. Then just kind of like, bloop, right there, goes right here. Kind of move this because the install company literally just screwed it into the wall sideways with screws right through the bracket. So I figure I could probably clean that up a little bit. Maybe put it like sideways or something, and then have like the NAS right here. I don't know. I'll figure it out. But for now, I'm just going to sit it on the floor. Plug this in. Wow, that's really loud. So this is the network cable that it comes with. Does it say anywhere on here what this is? Cat 5e. So I have Cat 6 cables somewhere, so I'll probably upgrade this. Whoa, hi Cat. But basically, I just gotta plug this in. There we are. So that's literally my only option. And the power light is flashing, doing its thing. I'll just give that like a minute to do its thing or whatever, and I'll go check out that website to see what's going on. The lights have changed to red. We got red lights. What does red mean? Are you gonna help me figure this out? Yeah. Here, I'm gonna look outside. Get all the rain. Yeah. Wanna look out this window? Yeah, I wanted to judge the deck that I was building and I didn't finish. Yeah, because I don't know how to do anything to its fullest. Yeah. Are you judging me? Yeah, you're probably judging me. There you go. Hello, meet your private cloud. So let's go to this website, mycloud.com/setup. Welcome to myCloud. Please select your myCloud device to set it up. Okay, this is a myCloud EX2 Ultra. Perfect. Language, English. Agree. Continue. Password. Create administrator password. Protect against unauthorized configuration of your myCloud system. Okay. Okay, so let's confirm the password. There we are. If you do not wish to create a new password now, click next. Oh, I could have just skipped that for now. Okay. What? Password length cannot exceed 16 characters. Try again. God damn it. Okay, let's try. Okay, next. Next? Oh my god. What the hell? Okay, we're not doing a password right now. We're gonna set that up after. If you do not wish to add other users now, you can click next. So let's put me in here. Well, this is kind of neat because I can add multiple users. So if I did have tons of storage capacity and my internet is fast enough, then technically I could rent out storage space off of this. Huh. Okay, auto update firmware. Firmware updates when available will occur at 3 a.m. and will require a reboot. Okay, I want that off because I do work all night. Like it's 6:30 in the morning right now. Product improvement program. No. Okay, register your product. Cool. Next. Okay, apparently registration failed. If you do not wish to register at this time, click next to continue. Okay, yeah, that's fine. I don't need to register. That's it. That's it. Click these links for additional software and info. All of these don't work. RAID health, no configured volumes. Set up a RAID mode to configure new RAID volume on this device. Set up RAID mode. Oh, neat, we can do just a bunch of drives. We can do spanning, RAID 0, stripes, RAID 1. So that's exactly what I want. I want to have a mirrored solution across both of them. Switch to RAID 1. Okay, changing the RAID mode will erase all of the data on the drives listed below, which is totally fine. These drives will not be accessible while the RAID array is being created. Makes sense. Drive self-test is performing prior to creating the volumes. Okay. All right, and it recognized that there's 2 8 terabyte drives. Good, everything is working as it should. Aside from those links not working, this has been very seamless. Okay, both are good. All right, next. So, that's fine, 8 terabyte, next, auto rebuild. on. So this right here is what I was talking about with the hot swap, where if one of the drives starts failing, it'll let me know, and then I can just buy a new drive, slap it in, and then this will automatically start rebuilding for me. So that way I don't lose anything. Do I want to encrypt? Well, I guess that works out. And auto mount is going to be on. So with auto mount, it basically just means that the drive is encrypted. So if someone tries to connect to it manually, they need the password. But if it's connected through my computers, which are password protected, then it'll do it automatically. I don't need a password. So that's very seamless. I like that. Okay, so volume 1, RAID 1, EXT4. So this runs Linux. That's interesting. Okay, then drive 1 and 2. Perfect. Next. Switch to RAID 1. You're about to reformat the hard drives. All data will be erased. Do you want to continue? Well, yes, but it already said that I was deleting them, but okay. Please be patient while the WD My Cloud EX2 Ultra device partitions your drive. Plural, drives. Do not turn off the NAS at this stage. Okay, I guess we wait. Well, I mean, since I'm doing this now, I might as well uninstall Google Drive. Google Drive was uninstalled. Perfect. Okay, well, I'm just gonna let this do its thing, and then I'll come back when it's done. Hour and a half later, setup is complete. This section provides information on the volume name, file system, RAID mode, type, and the disk array, which is actually kind of neat that it's EXT4, because in one of my older videos, I did some benchmark testing between EXT4 and NTFS, and EXT4 was significantly faster. So this might actually give me a data transfer increase in speed while still being on Windows. But now, how do we actually use this thing? Disk health, healthy. 50 degrees, 51 degrees. I might have to figure out a cooling solution. They'd normally sit around 40 in my computer, so we've already increased by 10 degrees Celsius. And volume encryption, blah, 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 blah. Okay, cool. Apps, Dropbox. So you can implement cloud storage from Dropbox into this. That'd be kind of neat if it had OneDrive or Sync, considering that Dropbox is more expensive than the other options. Plex Media Server, possibly something that I want to look into, because then I could completely get rid of the iMac if I upgrade the storage on this. So yeah, okay, so there's not really anything there. How do I what? Oh, there's a firmware update already. Good, good, good. How do I use this, with the computer? Mac backups, no. Wow, this is taking forever. Okay, come on. Okay, I don't know what this is doing, but there's going to be a firmware update and I have to figure out how to actually connect this with the computer. So yeah, I'm going to figure that out and then I'll show you how. It's been a day. I've been messing around with all the different software and everything that comes with this, and that original version that only works on OS 3, that was complete garbage. It did exactly what I wanted, but it kept crashing, and on Windows 11 on my laptop, it wouldn't even install. So that's just not going to work for me. There's also tons of security vulnerabilities and everything with OS 3, which is why they strongly recommend that you upgrade to OS 5, which still isn't that great. The two software solutions that they offer for that was Acronis, and it was a custom version for Western Digital that they give you a 5-year license for, and GoodSync, which was the other one. And this program here does exactly what I want. But I'll get into this in a minute. So that Acronis one, it only does full backups. So it'll take every single thing that I want to back up and it'll make an archive. But those archives have to be restored with the Acronis software, which means that I can't access any of the files on my phone or anything, and I can't use any of it on my laptop. So that makes it completely useless. That's it, that software shouldn't even be included with a cloud because you can't access it remotely, which is the whole point of a cloud. That's more for a NAS or an external hard drive or something like that. So why they include that, I have no idea. But then GoodSync, they give you that 30-day trial version for it, and in that trial version, you're allowed to do a single sync operation. Normally what you would see is under all jobs, there would be a single instance here, and to add another one, you have to subscribe to this service, which ends up being $40 Canadian per year. That's still around half as much as the cloud storage, but it still sucks that the entire reason of doing all of this was so I could eliminate having subscription fees, but after doing the math, it still works out regardless, even after having to buy everything. So this is still a viable solution to buy one of these and set up your own cloud and then purchase the subscription to GoodSync. Right here, I have all of the math. The MyCloud unit was $180. I got it on sale. The subscription to GoodSync is $40 a year. I already had 8TB hard drives, but if you were to be buying new ones and then good quality NAS drives, it's going to run you about $1,000 for 2 drives, and those have a life expectancy of 5 years minimum. So if we take this entire total right here of the $1,220, that would be your initial startup cost. That means that it's going to run you $244 per year to run this cloud solution. Now, compared to other cloud services, that doesn't seem like a good idea until you go into mass storage solutions. When I was checking out Mega, it's $360 a year for 8 terabytes of storage. For sync.com, it's $240 a year for 6 terabytes. For Google, and what I was paying before, is $840 a year for 10 terabytes, or they've now made a new mid-tier plan, which is $432 a year for 5 terabytes. And the one that just renewed for me was actually a 2 terabyte plan because I had set up the video archive, the main source of storage that was required for cloud storage. I set that up as a shared drive across the network because I don't really need to be accessing those at all times. And the main amount of footage that I'm routinely using will fit on 2 terabytes, which is the maximum capacity of the laptop. So the full laptop capacity, the full desktop capacity, and the full Google Drive capacity, all 3 of those 2 terabytes all the way across, I can fit all of my files as well as the current projects that I'm working on. And then this one here has 3 terabytes, which gives me an extra terabyte of space for games and stuff. So that ended up being a pretty good solution, but then I was having all those issues with Google Drive and everything. And for that one, I was paying $140 a year, where OneDrive is $80 a year. And then it's $96 for sync.com. So both of those other solutions are cheaper than the Google Drive one. So in no instance is Google Drive even worth the effort at this point because the other ones are so much cheaper. When I run into the price per capacity, Mega ends up being $45 per terabyte. Sync is $40 a terabyte. Google ends up being $84 a terabyte if you go with the 10 terabyte plan, or $86 a terabyte if you go with that 5 terabyte plan. So it's actually cheaper to go for the 10 terabyte per terabyte if you need that much capacity. But again, it's not worth it because Mega, Sync, OneDrive, they're all much cheaper. Plus the app integration and everything works exactly the way that backup and sync used to work, as well as OneDrive and everything. I've tested all that too, but when we get into this cloud solution here, even taking into account that it's $244 a year for a 5-year span, that means okay, what does that mean? Why did I just have to cut to my phone? Where's the rest of this video? I would also like to know the answer of that question, Google, because remember when I said how I only had 161 gigs left on this thing, and what I would normally do is import the footage to the computer, and then I would edit the entire video, and then once the video is completely done, I would take the final copy of it and I would archive it on here to save on space and remove all the original footage. But then when the entire Google and hard drive in this ended up going kind of like back and forth and deleting files and everything, like I said in the last video. Yeah, remember that? Remember how it deleted stuff and I was able to recover everything from the external because I had it backed up? Yeah, remember the stuff that I had backed up the external? Yeah, I didn't have the raw footage backed up, and the very last clip of this video was one of those that Google Drive deleted because it didn't sync to Google Drive. So the Google Drive for Desktop app was like, oh, hey, I don't have this file on Google Drive, so that means you don't want it on the computer, so it deleted the files. This is why I'm getting rid of Google Drive. I'm so sick of this. Anyway, what I was getting at is that even if you take into the account here that all of this ends up being $244 a year, then this over a 5-year span, which is about the average life of drive, so that's kind of like the math we're doing here, and usually if you have tons of cloud storage, then you're going to continue to use it, basically forever. So with that taken into consideration, it ends up being $30.50 per terabyte with 8 terabyte at RAID 1. So that's significantly cheaper than every other option at an 8 terabyte equivalent, which the only ones in that ballpark are the 10 terabyte plan for Google and the 8 terabyte plan from Mega. So these are in direct comparison to each other. At Mega being $45 per terabyte, and then doing it yourself, even with all of the overhead cost of buying the drives and everything, which I didn't even have to do, it ends up being $30.50 per terabyte. So you're almost saving $15 per terabyte on an 8 terabyte plan if you were to set this up in RAID 1. If you were to do RAID 0, that ends up being $15.25 per terabyte. Or what I was taking into account is that in roughly a 5-year span, just based on an average of drive depreciation in value, that in roughly 5 years, you'll be able to get 18 terabyte as 2 drives in RAID 1 for an estimated equivalent of $13.55 per terabyte by using this cloud solution and using that app that requires a $40 a year subscription. Conclusion, yes, this is a good option, but it's just extremely shady on Western Digital's part that they literally included free software with it. Like, it did all of that backup and everything that the GoodSync program does, and they included it for free, but they only included it with OS 3 on the NAS, but then force you to upgrade to OS 5. And then after you upgrade to OS 5, there's no possible way to downgrade back to OS 3, and the only option for OS 5 is to use that GoodSync app. I tried another thing called Sync Things or something, but in order to install that bin file on this NAS, you have to have OS 3. It's only OS 3 compatible because they've locked down OS 5 for security reasons, but apparently it's still not that great. And then you can also run xCloud on it, just to like literally turn this thing into your own cloud, but that again requires OS 3 and there's no way to downgrade. So best case scenario is if you get one and it's on OS 3, then you can run nextcloud or you can run Sync Things. And then those are two free solutions because the free software that Western Digital offered, they got rid of it and just decided that they're no longer going to support it anymore because it kept crashing and they just never updated it for Windows 10. So it was very buggy on Windows 10. The entire theme to the program had like a Windows Vista, Windows 7-esque kind of style to it, so you could tell that it wasn't updated in many, many years. But it just sucks that they literally had a free solution, and then just because of a software update that they force you to take, that you no longer have a free solution and you have to pay a $40 a year subscription. Like, that's so stupid. That's so shady on their part. Again, like the NAS drive scandal, and now they force you to update, so you have to pay a yearly subscription for something that they were offering for free, but they just decided that they're not going to update their program for all of these people, like all of these customers who are buying this product. So I don't know, this thing is really stupid. The next video I go over the software a little bit heavier so you can actually get like a better understanding of what's going on with it. But I mean, like, ideally I brought it back. Like, it's gone. I returned it. It's just a giant headache for me. I ended up formatting it for the software video so I could show how to set the entire thing up without anything on it or whatever. And then something messed up and it ended up setting up as RAID 0, even though I selected RAID 1. And then after recording that entire video, I was trying to set it up as RAID 1 again. And then for some reason it told me that my hard drives are no good. I pulled the hard drives so I could do a full factory reset, just try and start over again. So I formatted my drives individually, tested them and everything was fine. I did a factory reset and the thing bricked on me. So it literally broke by doing a factory reset because I bought it, I set it up, I did a factory reset, and then it ended up using the wrong RAID array, even though I selected RAID 1. And then the next time that I tried to do a factory reset, it said my drives were corrupted. So I removed the drives and then tried the factory reset again, and it bricked the whole device. So like, there's a reason this thing is on sale, because it's an absolute piece of garbage and I highly recommend you don't buy one. But, you know, if you want to get subscribed for the next video where I dive into the software a little bit more, then you can actually see firsthand all of the issues that I had to face and how terrible it is. And it also like was almost crashing my computer, the GoodSync software that I ended up having to use. Anyway, I'm losing my mind, and it's almost 5 in the morning, and I'm still trying to edit the stupid videos and get the next one done. So if you found something useful, then like the video. If not, then dislike it. That's super cool. I totally don't even blame you because I dislike everything about this. Subscribe if you haven't already. That's awesome. That helps out. Or if you want to help in my financial ruins of trying to deal with this cloud storage nonsense, then join the members program, or don't do any of it. I'm not telling you what to do.